And we're back in the room. Who knows that reference? There's some TV show where the guy goes, and we're back in the room. Somebody out there knows. Josh Kornbluth, if you're watching, tweet us what that is. So before we start, I just want to do one more kind of shout out. It's not been obvious, but the whole time we've been in there talking in the study, there's a whole madhouse scene here in the theater, rehearsing and switching over all these shows and making things go from buses to musicals to spoken word in here. And so you guys who've been living in here for the past 2 weeks, Alex, Michael, Rock, all of you guys, thank you very much for keeping this all rolling, including this presentation. All right, so the point of this session is to introduce some of the new technologies that are coming into play in the new play sector, some of them through the Institute, not all of them by any means. And we're going to start with this group of them and hopefully get more on the table before the end of the session with a goal toward same deal, trying to understand how do we capture the potential of all of this, how do we make it bigger than the sum of its parts, what kind of efficiencies can we gain by intention of aligning all of this effort. So we're going to start with Vijay Matthew, one of the co-directors of the American Voices New Play Institute, and the original... And Vijay and Jamie came back from the portrait gallery one day, and when we first started the Institute, and they had just seen an exhibit. You should tell them what it...
Yeah, it's Electronic Superhighway, and we have a picture of that. We can put it up there, Rock.
Is it good? It's not going to mess up anything if we jump out? I tend to not follow the script. I'm sorry. I'm a deviser.
Well, anyway, we can get back to that after.
Yeah. So they came back from the portrait gallery, and Namjoon Paik has a piece. What's it, Pak? Pike, thank you. Has a piece there called Electronic Superhighway, and all of the states in the Union are represented with little video screens of what they do, and they wanted to do a map of the infrastructure for new plays nationally, and rather than make it static, this one's beautiful and it's static, we decided we would try to make it real time. So, Vijay, take us through. This is Jamie and Vijay's brainchild, and Ben and Colin from Quilted have been the developers of it thus far.
Yeah, so this, Jamie, I don't know if we went on the same day, but it was, we had looked at that, and it was at the same time that we were starting the administration of the NEA New Play Development Program. And this was a way to, this really inspired kind of a way that we would try to help document and share knowledge about what we were learning about the projects. And what was really interesting about this, the Electronic Superhighway, is it's a map, it's a geographic map, but it's also a map of cultural identity. Each of these states has a video feed that's feeding the identity of the state. So, for example, in Texas, it's a looping feed of cowboys and Indians and oil wells. But a lot of it's cliche and tongue-in-cheek, but
Idaho is potatoes, Jenny. Idaho's got its potatoes up there.
Yeah, Idaho's potatoes, what we took away from that was that mapping in the broader sense, metaphorical sense, is very subjective. And a map, you know, some people could say the U.S., if you map the U.S. cultural identity, it's homogenous. You could say that. So this was kind of an anti-homogenous map of culture. And so then from there we started to, we engaged Quilted, and they'll tell you more about what they do and what they're about. And so, Rock, can you put the next slide up there? We started to sketch a bunch with Quilted, which was very, very early prototyping, a different way of getting ideas down, because we're finding that if we talk too much in words, it wouldn't make sense. And it was the basic kind of fundamental thing we were working for was answering a big kind of design question, which is, what can we do if all of us as a field, as the US new play sector, were to coordinate all of our energies and information resources and data, coordinate that, really design it in a way, aggregate it, and see if that would actually create any value for the field. And that's still a huge open question that we'd like to float out to you. Is it of value for us all together to coordinate our resources, our knowledge and information resources. And so this is an early sketch, and then we could see the next sketch, please. This is Jamie's drawings, by the way. Minnesota, she's from Minnesota. And then we can see the next one. So this was a way to, okay, and so this is showing the one analytical feature of the map, which is what do you do when you have all this data that gets entered into the system? And by then we had thought that the best way to get data into the system is to allow the field to do it itself, to allow the field to map itself. Because it would be impossible for us, Jamie and I, to do it, because we didn't know anything, and we still don't. So if we were to, in a way, crowdsource or follow the Wikipedia model, it would be the best way to get things that are invisible to a lot of us visible. And so this shows a new play development path. And so now we can go back to the web browser and see how that turned out as something. Let's see if I can get this here. How many of you have been on the map already?
Oh man, love it, thank you.
Awesome.
This is version 1.0, so part of the point of this is to figure out where we take it next.
So what I have pulled up here is, I went up here, I clicked filter the map, and I went down and I selected organization affiliations, National New Play Network. And they were actually, NNPN, at least half of the organizations, they worked on an early prototype back in the spring, I think, with us. And that, it may have seemed like a shitty little project, but it was actually very helpful for us to figure out what we're doing. So thanks for braving that out.
And also the Yale
Yes.
dramaturgy program, they also did a shitty little project at the beginning, which was they started to research all the new play activity in different cities around the country so that we could figure out what was the universe at all. And those guys, they had no idea what they were doing in terms of where it was going to lead, and it didn't look like it was going to lead anywhere when they did it, and bless those students because it was actually really helpful in teaching us things.
So here I just clicked on, so I had the whole list of NNPN. So the map was showing all the organizations that were part of NNPN so far that are on the map. And I clicked on Mixed Blood Theater, and here we have this overlay, the organizational profile. They don't have their logo up there yet. That's why there's the ghost figure there. And inside, I clicked on info. It shows you basic information about the organization. And a lot of this was adapted, taken from the way that TCG structures their information in the great profile book that they publish. And this also shows related events. So there's just one related event, and what that means is Mixed Blood, so far, they're showing that they've supported this rolling premiere of Agnes Under the Big Top, and it shows you the dates. So I click on that, and let's see what happens. So it shows you, this is the play profile, and this is a new play journey, what we're calling the kind of analytical feature. It's taking all the dates, and it's showing you the path through time and space, and then with narrative descriptions of what each stop was. And you see it's a little squunchy, the captions there we're still working on. In this first version, we weren't able to get to all of the ways.
But like down here, for example, I don't know if you can read it, but this down here is the 9th stop in the journey of Agnes so far on the map. The 9th stop is Borderlands, the 3rd part of the rolling premiere.
Yeah,
so all those pieces add up in order to stops 1 through 9 in the development journey through to the
Scroll down to the related events.
rolling premiere.
Scroll down to the related events with the numbers.
So I'll click on one of these events, like for example, the LARC play development stop. Oh, it took me to the organizational page of LARC.
And what you're seeing now with the highlights, the green highlights, those are organizations. The other grayed out icons are dates of events and individual writers who put themselves on the map for different things. These are all writers now.
Okay, so again, this is organizational profile, and another thing is it shows you what other organizations are in some kind of relationship or partnership or collaboration with the LARC. So
Can you
see
guys read that, the blue text in the black field there?
So it
Can you see
says
that?
Queen's Theater, Mixed Blood, Interact, Magic, Mai, The Play Company, Tang Halang Filipino, and Rodopi International Theater Lab. So these were all, the way that this got there is they have, I think just 3 or 4 plays that they have put in here. And it may not have been the LARC, it may have been other people. And that's the thing, it's a completely open system for editing. Anyone can create any entry in the system. And so it's showing you the dates of these particular workshops. And I'll just click on, see if I can click on Agnes. Oh, and then when you click on a specific icon, it can give you a summary of what that particular development milestone was. So this is the Mixed Blood production, it's the world premiere of Agnes Under the Big Top. And then it may not be filled out, but the other icons can tell you, you can put in anything you want really, like links to reviews if you're interested in showing that, or a list of who the cast and crew were for that particular development step.
So what's happening, how all this is getting on there, if you are involved in any one of these projects, you put in the best information that you know about other things that have happened. And if I'm added to the map, or an event that relates to me is added to the map, I get an email from the map saying added. And I would go and make sure that it's correct. That's the wiki feeling of it. That I, as the end user, when something's posted about my organization or myself as a generative artist or my play, I know that something's changed, and I can go and make sure that it's the correct information. So it's really going to end up being about everybody together making this full picture. You can see in just a few weeks, though,